What's up everybody, my name is XIII and welcome back to another War of the Visions video. Today is going to be a quick unit preview of Lightning, one of the new Final Fantasy XIII characters to come out. And in order to do this, we're going to have to put our thinking caps on. So basically to get into this video, I'm going to give you a TLDR right out of the gate in terms of, do I think she is a must pull? Do I think she's really, really good? What do I think? My opinion is, I don't think she's game breaking. I don't think she is like head and shoulders above every other Lightning unit in the game. I do think overall she is probably the best physical damage dealer of the Lightning element to date. I do think overall she's probably better than Cloud. And I would consider her probably a different type of unit than Esther. But I would think in general, she is probably a slight upgrade to Cloud unless you are specifically targeting invasion units. In that case, I think Cloud is still better. So that's kind of my TLDR, and I'm going to get into this video and kind of explain why I think that and what I see here. So first thing right out of the gate, Lightning has a standard 3-1 move jump, nothing crazy, 90 cost unit. Her TMR increases attack 30% and lightning attack 25% for the party. It has a small range on it, so you can cast it while not being right next to the character. Very cool. 2 casts kind of helps its usability in guild battle because you can use it in both the first battle and the second. The stats are nothing crazy. They're decent, but it doesn't have agility, unfortunately. It is at least an accessory. I could see this being used in lightning-only comps, but definitely not a game-breaking TMR. I like it for sure, but not game-breaking. In terms of remaster ability, the standard lightning party ability, 5 lightning attack is kind of whatever, 5 damage modifier is nothing crazy. Decrease AP consumption 15 for self is very, very nice. We're going to show that later in the video in terms of how it helps her get more and more abilities off. In terms of her stats, I'm not going to go through a lot of that in detail. I will go over that in my ultimate guide, but I wanted to point out just some of the resistances. The standard elemental resist, -10 to strike is kind of whatever, not a ton of strike in this game. Neutral to pierce, I would like to see a positive there, but it's not the end of the world. However, 10% to slash, 10% to missile, and 20% to magic is a very, very good starting point. For a lot of physical damage dealers, they are often weak to magic or not incredibly good, so a 20% jumping off point is very, very good for her, and 10 slash and missile is nothing to sniff at for sure. In terms of status element resists, I actually really, really like this. 50% disable. Disable is not the most common status element in the game right now, but if you get disabled, it is crippling. It sucks. So having resistance to that is always very, very good. And 50% frostbite resistance is also very, very nice, especially given the fact that I do think we are coming up on an ice meta pretty soon here in War of the Visions. So having that status element resistance is very, very good for her. In terms of stats, like I said, I won't go crazy on this. Just know she has a fairly low dex stat. She has a decent luck stat. Pretty average agility, like nothing crazy, but an insanely high base attack stat. Like she's literally tied for highest in the game with a couple of other units. So if you run things that give increased attack to her on trust stones and things like that, she will get a ton of value out of that. She is not the most accurate character in the game, fairly average, and will need a boost in terms of VC, Esper, and trust stones if you are trying to target evasion units. In terms of skills, one of them in my opinion is a no-brainer. Her unique job support skill, 12% agility, 40 defense pen. In my opinion, this is a must run every time. Helps her speed up, helps her penetrate defense. It's just very, very good. In my opinion, the other 4 skills all have a time and place, but I think there are 2 that you're probably going to use the most often. This one, I believe it's called Warrior Spirit from the Viking subjob, is one of the only things that she gets from the Viking subjob that's actually useful. 12% HP, and like I said, 24% attack. Any attack up steroid for her is very, very good because her base attack stat is incredibly high. Increase missile attack 15 and luck 12%, I believe is the second passive that you're going to want to run if you're versing evasion units and you know you're going against them. It's just going to give some increased accuracy for her and help out in that regard. The missile attack up is kind of nice also because of her counter ability. So her counter ability, in my opinion, is pretty much top tier. 30% counter chance is good. A lot of counters are only 20%, so having 30% is nice. 121% damage modifier is decent. It is a missile attack, non-elemental. The range is range of 3, range height 2. So the range height 2 is really, really useful for being able to hit more units. To my understanding, this is not a line of sight Well, so I don't think it hits your allies, but I'm not 100% sure of that. Would have to test that out before I can confirm that and things like that. But also, this is the kicker, increases AP by 20 for self. So you have 13 AP, all of a sudden you have 33 AP if this procs. This is an incredible way to increase her AP. And like we said before, with that 15% decrease AP consumption on her master ability, she has a lot of ways to increase her AP. She is not somebody who needs bells or anything like that. And she's pretty scary, like I said. So let's keep going through her kit. This first skill might as well be renamed to Braver. It is literally the exact same skill as Braver as Cloud has. It is a 25% slash and peril, 121% lightning slash damage, the 3 range, range height 1, 6 cast, 15 AP. There's not a single thing about this that is different than Braver. So very unique, Gumi. Braver is a great skill, don't get me wrong, but it's literally the exact same thing. So if you're familiar with that from Cloud, it is the exact same skill. There's nothing different. The only difference is that it will actually technically cost less AP because she does have AP consumption down in her mastery ability. So this skill right here is what, in my opinion, makes her a top tier unit. Reduces damage taken by 50%. So that's both physical and magic shield for 3 times. Increase slash resistance 25%, missile resistance 25%, and then also for 3 turns gives her a follow-up attack on all of her abilities. To scroll down, her follow-up attack is a 50% damage modifier, so nothing crazy, but if you're going to stack things like Man-Eater or something like that, that can actually increase that modifier and it is very useful. In my opinion, Odin is a no-brainer Esper for her because of a couple of things. You can stack that Man-Eater, you can stack slash resist on Odin, you can stack missile resist on Odin, and if you have this buff, her resistances can get kind of crazy. So just go with me here for a second, right? If you run Esther's VC, Ibarra's VC, and Scorpion Sentinel, or let's say her VC, Esther's VC and Scorpion Sentinel as the main 3 vision cards in the party. Lightning has 10 slash resist innately. She will gain 20 from Scorpion Sentinel, which will put her at 30. She will use this buff that will put her at 55. And then whatever Esper she has, let's say gives 15 slash resist, she's now all of a sudden at 70 slash resist without equipment. That is absolutely nuts. She can get crazy high slash resist levels without even trying, like with literally just using her 1 buff that she wants and an Esper and VCs that she wants. So without any sort of equipment, she could easily have 70 slash resist. You could do almost the same thing with missile. You could have Frederica's Dream in the sub slot and probably have 60 missile resist easily. So she's going to be decently bulky against physical units. Obviously, there's more and more penetration in this game, so this isn't like an end-all be-all. But this skill is nuts. Not only the resistances is already really good, the damage shield on top and a follow-up attack all in one. 2 casts. So she can use this once each guild battle if you're using her for guild battle. I can't say enough how good this is. It's very nice. And 30 TP is a decent amount. I actually like higher TP cost because they generate more AP. So very good skill. We're going to skip over this line because it gets upgraded in this skill here in our EX job. 32 AP. So go with me here. If you were to run AP runes on her, she would have an increased 10% AP consumption down, which now she is down 25%. So this 32 AP would only cost 24 if you ran AP runes on her. Now, it increases defense pen by 40. And as we said before, she already starts the fight with 40 from her passive. We can assume probably 10% at least from a Trust Stone passive. So if she uses this skill, she's going to have 90 defense pen. So even though she doesn't start the fight with an insane amount, probably 50, maybe 60, depending on what you want to run, she will essentially have 90 when she uses this skill. This is effectively Barrage in terms of range and different things like that. The difference is it's a higher modifier. It is a 200% modifier, sorry, so more damage. And then also the kicker is that if she kills a unit with this, she gets AP back. I don't know if that AP can be increased. I don't think it can, but I'm not 100% sure. But she gains 15 AP per kill. So if she kills a unit, she gets 15 AP back, and it only costs 24. This is effectively a 9 AP skill if she killed 1 unit. If she killed 2 units, she gets more AP back than it originally even cost her. So this is kind of what I was talking about, how the fact that she can just kind of endlessly churn AP Not only that, if you were to actually run her with somebody like Cloud who ran a Soldier's Honor buff, I can't even imagine how much AP this chick would have. She'd just literally never run out. It's kind of crazy. So I very, very much like this skill. It is a missile attack, so it kind of disperses her damage types a little bit. So she is a mixed slash and missile attacker. Can be nice because it just depends on, you know, who you're going against, what they build up. The only bad thing about this is that people stacking missile attack penetration, she won't do a ton of damage to. But she does have enough other good skills that she can kind of deal with that. This next skill is nice if you are trying to get your party together and clump up, or you're versus an evasion team. So 25% agility, 30 accuracy, and restores 10 AP for self. A pretty nice AoE buff. Nothing insane, but it's pretty good, right? So increases accuracy for the whole party if you're trying to hunt evasion. So again, if you're running something like her, Esther, and Charlotte, and you run into evasion and you don't have any guaranteed hits, 30% accuracy among the whole team could be pretty useful. Again, I think Cloud's just better against evade, but it is what it is. 10 AP is nice, and the agility buff is the main thing. I think an AoE agility buff without having to run a TMR to do that is very, very useful. This skill right here, break physical barrier for target, 3 range, range height 1. Nothing crazy, but it's always nice having a barrier break in your kit. Her job level 25 skill, range of 4, range height of 1. 200% damage, lightning slash attack. 50% chance to slow is pretty nice, not gonna lie. It is when you're performing a critical hit. The one thing I will say is that she is different from other lightning units in one regard, and it's that she doesn't have crazy crit rate. Like, she has pretty low dex, as we said, and that normally correlates with having a low crit chance. So even though units, you know, like Cloud or Frederica are very, very crit focused, she is not. So this is only a % chance when critting. So you do have to buff up her dexterity and different things like that in order to get her to crit. I do think it's a decent attack, but nothing game breaking in my opinion. In terms of her sub job, 3 range, range height 1, 4 casts, 25% chance to disable. Gives her a little more utility depending on who you're facing if you know they have a disable weakness. This is another AoE attack. Unfortunately, her other AoE attack is missile. So this is like kind of the one con that I will give her, right? Is that her AoE attacks are missile. So her single target attacks are slash. I would like to see her with an AoE slash attack because she is able to get very high slash attack penetration levels, as you'll see as we go through this. She's not able to get insanely high missile attack penetration. So she's going to delete people in terms of single target, but if people build enough missile resistance, she won't be able to do a ton of AoE damage. Is kind of like the one knock that I can find on her. In terms of her sniper, my opinion is there's 2 abilities that you're going to want to use. The rest are pretty much nothing. The first one is target. Increases range by 1 and defense pen by 40. So if you didn't use this AoE, you know, missile attack to gain defense penetration, you could run this. The thing about this is if you're running this to get range and defense pen up, like, you're probably going to be using this skill anyway, right? So I don't know how useful this could be. I think her other buffs are probably just better, but I could maybe see a situation where you'd use this. The one main skill that I always look for when I see sniper is Dispel Spread, and she has it. So it is an AoE. She gets 3 casts, dispels all buffs, dispels all hate, 200% damage modifier, just like her main attack is. Very, very, very nice. The one thing I will say is that it costs 40 AP, so it's going to cost more than her original skill. Again, if you were running AP runes, this would essentially cost 30 AP, but it's still going to cost more than her main one. But I could see a situation where this could be pretty useful for her. In terms of Viking, she really has nothing here that's useful. The only thing that I could possibly see is this skill right here. Increase human killer 25, 205% modifier. It is technically an AoE right in front of her. It has almost no range whatsoever, but it is an AoE and it is a slash attack. So this is kind of her like one AoE slash attack, unless you include this one, which is piercing. I don't know, like maybe you'll run sub Viking just so she has technically some AoE attacks in her slashing attacks, but I don't know. There's not a whole lot to write home about for Viking. Her limit break, however, I do very much like. It's 4 range, single target, a 3 hit multiplier, so it is a chaining ability. It increases slash attack penetration by 40 to start, and then 200% damage modifier, and eventually debuffs the lightning resist by 38% at the end. This is a very, very good limit break. She basically is going to come into the party with probably 50 defense pen and likely 45 slash tech penetration, I would say. So right around 50 for both, right? That's pretty much what you can expect for her. Her limit break ups slash tech pen by 40, so essentially she'd probably have around 85 or so. And this other skill buffs defense pen by 40, so essentially like 90. So she'll come into the fight with around 50% of each, but she has the capability of getting too close to 100 with either one of those penetrations if she chooses to use those abilities. The next thing I want to go over for her is her VC. This is receiving a global buff. It's going to give her only, lightning only, crit rate and crit damage. Now this is important in my opinion because it does help with like that skill that, you know, has an increased chance to slow or different things like that. I also think it's important to get her crit rate up because like I said, she is not a very likely to crit unit. Her dexterity is very, very low. So having that unit effect on the VC will definitely help. That being said, 10% attack, 15 accuracy is very, very nice to make her a unit that can be good into almost any situation. She needs that increased accuracy just in case she runs into an evasion comp. Like I said before though, you know, if you're going into evasion, you're going to need accuracy and luck runes. That means you can't run AP or agility or attack or something like that. In terms of party effects, fantastic VC. I'm not sure if I like this better than Ibarra's VC, but they're pretty much on the same level in my opinion. I do think, like, if you're going against evasion, you're still going to need the Ibarra one because it gives dexterity to the party. But it's very, very good. 20 AoE resist, 18 lightning attack is universally good, and same with 20 crit evasion. So just a very good overall card. And if you have both the Ibarra VC and this one, it gives you the flexibility to run AoE resist on either a physical or magic damage dealer, which is very, very good. 164 attack, 4 defense, 301 HP. The stats are nothing crazy. I do think if you don't have Ibarra's VC, you should absolutely pull this. The other thing I'm going to say about it is that it's definitely going to be good on lightning, but I think you could probably do without it if you have Ibarra's VC and you're always going to run a magic member in your team. I don't want to downplay how good this card is though. This card is very, very good, but if you have Ibarra's VC, you're tied on Visior, and you're always going to use a magic unit in your party, it's maybe not a must pull, but it's very, very good. One thing that is a must, however, for Lightning is her weapon. This weapon is one of the most broken things that I've seen in this game. It's really only meant for Lightning. It has some other things that could be good on another Lightning element swordsman, but it's broken for Lightning. Like, let me point this out to you. So the stats aren't crazy. Like, there's really nothing insane about here that I love, but increases slash attack 15, missile attack 15, accuracy 15, lightning attack 30, 30% chance the counter doesn't activate. I will point out that these are 5 things that are all very, very good for lightning, and 5 things that if you were to use Trust Stone passives instead, all 5 of these numbers are better than what you can build on a Trust Stone passive. So they basically just nullify the Trust Stones. They're just better than that. This opens up her Trust Stones to be pretty much straightforward, exactly what you want. You're going to want attack, you're going to want defense pen, you're going to want slash attack pen, you're going to want dexterity, you're going to want missile attack pen, and you're going to want acquired AP up. You want those 6 things. I don't see really a situation for anything else. It fits so incredibly perfectly with all these other abilities. This weapon is absolutely nuts, and if you play Lightning, you have to play her with this. Okay, so for the last part of the video, and like I said, I'm going to do an ultimate guide on her, so I will do a more in-depth thing in terms of builds and taking her into PvP and stuff like that, but this was just kind of my quick unit preview and my thoughts on whether, you know, this unit is really good, whether you should pull for her, different things like that. As I said before, I think she might be the best physical Lightning unit in the game. Esther is very, very good. Cloud is very good at what he does. And I think Orlando is going to be a solid unit, especially only for 80 cost. That being said, I think Lightning is just straight up better than Orlando. He's very good for 80 cost. If you're doing a limited cost fight, I could definitely see him being very, very useful. But I think she's pretty much just straight up better. She's going to have more penetration than him, like right now. One thing will change on that is because Orlando's Knight subjob actually will eventually get a passive buff as they are slowly upgrading jobs that gives him extra 40% slash penetration. So take a note there that eventually Orlando will have pretty good slash tech penetration eventually. But right now, I think she's probably bulkier than him with her like shield ability that she has. And I think for the most part, she's probably going to do more damage. So realistically, I do think she's probably just better than him. That being said, I think Orlando is still kind of a beast, and I would not blame people at all if they pull for him. In terms of Esther, I think on average, Esther's still going to be bulkier in terms of physical units, but Lightning wipes the floor with her in terms of magic. Not only is her shield both physical and magic, but she has 20% magic resist to start. So this is a much better starting point than Esther. And like I said, with those decent resistances of 10 and 10 slash and missile, and then her buff that increases it by 25 each, like along with Espers and VCs, you can get either one of those resistances to crazy, like 70 or 80 levels if you really tried. Like, it's just crazy to me. She has really, really good physical bulk, in my opinion. Even though she can't get crazy defense number, her resistances can get very, very high. And her damage, in my opinion, is just going to be flat out better than Esther. She absolutely has better range than Esther, and she has much better AP management than Esther. So even though I think Esther is very, very good, I think Lightning is a beast. And so for this last one, what I will say is, you know, each one of these units that I went through probably has something that they do better than Lightning. But I think if you're just looking for a plug and play physical damage dealer, Lightning is the best. Against evasion, Cloud's going to be better. Coming into the fight, Cloud is going to do more damage than her because he is starting levels of penetration that are better than her. However, that being said, she has more bulk, and her turn 1 buff is so incredibly good that I just think she's going to be better in most situations than Cloud. That's not going to stop me from playing him because he's my favorite unit in the game. I'm still going to play him all the time. But she's an absolute beast. She brings Dispel. She brings really good range, AoE. She brings good penetration levels, fantastic limit break, really good counter. Overall, just fantastic unit. And brings me to my final point. In terms of the lightning element, where do I think she fits? Right near the top. Does that mean you have to pull for her? No, absolutely not. Lightning has a crazy amount of good units right now. Cloud is still a beast. Esther's fantastic. Ibarra is borderline broken. Resnick is very, very good. Charlotte with her MA2 is a great tank. Orlando is going to be a beast. Like, these are just my thoughts, so don't, you know, skew your whole mindset towards what I'm saying. I don't think she is a must pull. I think you could easily get on without her. And ultimately, I think this game is more about VCs than it is units, truth be told. That being said, I think she's an absolute monster. I think you will be very happy if you get her and build her up. That's pretty much my thought process, right? I think she's an absolute beast of a unit, and I will definitely be getting her just because I'm a Lightning main. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is my second time recording it. I accidentally had my mic completely muted the first time I recorded it, so hopefully this video was good and I didn't miss anything. But anyway, like I said, I will have an ultimate guide for her coming out somewhat shortly after I have the chance to build her and actually test out her AI and different things like that. So I'm looking forward to doing that. If you guys want any other videos related to FF13 or Final Fantasy Tactics collaboration, or specifically a niche ultimate guide unit that you would like to see, please drop it down in the comments below. I would very, very much appreciate that. Also, if you guys haven't checked it out, please check out my Draft League series. Week 2 is dropping either right before this or right after this video. And I've been having an absolute blast with it. If you guys don't know what that is, it is a essentially like fantasy draft version of War of the Visions, where we have 10 different people playing teams, all with a roster of 9 different units, and you have to fit a 225 cost party. So we see a ton of niche units. Like I am bringing out like Naya and Liarte. You know, we see a ton of MRs. We've seen Valade come out. We've seen a lot of really cool things. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm out. Have a wonderful day.